Hello again, we are at Baxter Cycle in Marnie, Iowa in the secret back room. Anyway, we're here to look at this today. This is a 1975 Norton Commando 850. I'm not sure if it's the Interstate or the Roadster. I don't know how to tell the difference. The story on this bike is, here's the original sticker. It was bought new in 1975 by a guy. He put these miles on it, and then he dropped it on its left side, and he stuffed it in his basement. A guy from Kansas City, I think, or someplace like that. And the bike sat there until recent rescue. And everything on the bike is as it was when they got it. I think even the tires are the original tires to the motorcycle. So it's been rescued. It's had a little cosmetic work done on it. I'm not sure what kind of damage. I don't see any offhand, but I'm not an expert on these things. Anyway, so a little bit about the bike. It has a 828cc overhead valve, push rod operated engine. I like the way it leans forward. Very good look. A pair of Amal 32mm carburetors, I think, is what they are supposed to have. Compression is 8.5 to 1 on this model, and this one does have the electric start. Electric start. There you can see the starter. These were supposed to put out about 60 horsepower and just about the same amount of torque, 59 foot-pounds of torque. So they were really quite a runner, and I found a little bit of information on speed, everything from 115 to 122 miles an hour, which is pretty good. And in the quarter mile they were saying 14.4, 14.5, something like that. Has a 4-speed transmission, and by this time, the brake's on the right on this one. By this time, 75, the shifter had been moved over to the left with a 4-speed. And amazingly, it was a pretty competitive bike for 1975. The front is a telescoping suspension. You can see that there, and I think it's 41 millimeters if I remember, which was large for that time. And Girling rear shocks on the back. The brakes, this bike had 2 discs, a disc on the back and a disc on the front, and they were both 272 millimeter, I believe. Looks like a single pot. Yeah, single pot front and rear. Boy, look at that. Isn't that something? A big chunk of aluminum. Let me get a good look at the front one. Very solid, very wide. That's about 10.6 inches, by the way. Tires on these were 19s, front and back, same size, 4.1 inch wide. Or 4.1, I don't know if that's wide or tall, on a 19-inch rim. The bike's wet weight is supposed to be about, I found a couple numbers for that. It's supposed to be about 515, 520 pounds, right in there. Pretty good for back then. Fuel tank, that was an interesting thing. I found everything from 2.6 to 3 usually. I found one that claimed these bikes had a 4-gallon tank. And I even found one that said it had a 5-gallon tank. Now I'm thinking there might be a difference based on the model. If you had an Interstate, you might have a larger tank. Or maybe you could order it, you know, aftermarket that way. This one did have the electric start, like I said earlier. It still retained the kickstart. I did a little looking online, and they were talking about the original starters were not, there's the starter right there, were not that strong. And what people would do is they'd kick it through a few times, prime the carb, get everything ready to go with the ignition off. Then they'd go just past the compression stroke, and then they'd hit the starter. And that would give it a full revolution and a half before it went back under the compression. And that would give it a little more momentum so they could get going. I think this is also the most desirable paint. Look down this aisle here, they're all black except for a couple red ones. I think there might be a blue one back there. It had something called an isolation anti-vibration system, and I tried to find information on that to share, but I really can't, and I don't know what it is. But they were pretty proud of that apparently, and they said it did a lot to make the bike smoother. I guess the two models, the Roadster and the touring model, the Interstate. Wheelbase on these was 56 3/4, which is a pretty good wheelbase. You know, that's not short, but it's not long by any means, not even medium. And seat height, if you look at it, well, it's on a center stand, but 33.5 inches or so. Very beautiful motorcycle. So this is all original here. These gauges, cluster, paint. Just a very desirable machine. I love the wheels on these, by the way. I love the way that looks. Looks like the Speedo drive maybe on the back here. I could be wrong about that. I can't really get in there to look. Tack drive off the front of the engine. This cable right here, my guess. Okay, the engine's got a lot of rubber on there. Maybe that's that isolation thing. Twin coils, I noticed that earlier, one on each side. I think these are still a points bike, although you could get electronic ignition afterwards. I also wonder if the pipes are stock. They do say Norton Triumph on the back here, but I don't know if that's an anyway, very beautiful machine. Very choke, high-low for the lights, horn on this side. The starter, not sure what that is. Anyway, gorgeous machine. Baxter Cycle, y'all get over here and check it out. If you want a Norton, especially Commando, I got a few. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Get out there and ride. Life is good. Wahoo.